4, and here are my notes. Hello, we're here today to discuss minor crimes and major sentences. I'm here to address how jail sentences do not always match the crime that is committed. Minor crimes are met with major sentences, while crimes that are harmful to society and are offered lesser sentences. This needs to change. As our world evolves, our legal system should too. But as most of us know, that doesn't always happen. And there's not always two sides to a story because the law is the law. It is important to know certain things so you can prevent yourself from getting in trouble. And that maybe that you can start by changing these major sentences for these minor crimes. Non-violent versus violent come with different sentences, but they are not always equivalent to what has been committed. It is very important to know your rights and the laws of the state that you call home. Federal law is different from state law. Federal law is considered the whole United States. So everywhere in the U.S. falls under federal laws. State laws are to the individual state. And it is very important to know that federal law trumps state law every time. Now, while your court sentences or your jail sentences may be more lenient because of the state that you live in, if you are federally prosecuted, it doesn't matter what state you live in or what law you broke, the federal government always wins. Each state has different laws and punishments. You can visit www.statelaws.findlaw.com and it'll break down the individual state laws so you know your rights wherever you are. Now we talk about, it's not fair and how we need to create change. Well, there's a process to doing this. To create change, you have to make a stand. But you cannot do it alone. So to make changes in your local state, even to the federal government, the first thing you can do is contact your local government, contact your congressmen, and make sure that you're heard. It's very important that you research the individuals that are elected, because then you'll know exactly who you need to contact. We don't all feel the same, and neither do our congressmen or governors. They all have one side that they stand by. It's very important to get your point across, to find somebody that is willing to listen and that maybe it feels the same way that you do. Another thing that's important is once you've started contacting your Congress and doing the things that you need to do, you need to speak up. You need to write letters, make phone calls, leave messages. Because in the meantime, small nonviolent crimes are being charged with very big sentences that they aren't deserved. Did you know that in the average sentence for marijuana possession is 31 months? But the possession of meth with the intent starts off to 6 months to 2 years. And in both cases is a lot less and causes a lot more harm. Meth can be connected to many deaths, overdoses, crazy outbursts, and their sentences are not always stronger than those of nonviolence with something very minor like marijuana. Once you've done all these things that you can do is you speak up, you make yourself be heard, you point out that there is an injustice being done to young people who make bad mistakes, or that as our world is changing, our laws are not, then you need to take action. It's very easy to be said, but to actually do this, you need to attend local forums. You need to find somewhere in your local area that supports minimizing jail sentences, that feels the injustice and supports the injustice being changed as well as you do. Once you get involved and you stand up for what you believe in and stand up for making change, then you can create your own local advocacy group that furthers the change in changing minor sentences with minor crimes with major sentences to a sentence that matches the crime. My position is not to say that minor crimes should not be prosecuted, that there should not be some kind of consequences for breaking the law, but the system needs to be evaluated into what makes it fair and lenient for every party involved. Jails and prisons stay overpopulated for nonviolent offenders, and major offenders who should have more time get let off of probation and get to register as sex offenders and still get to roam free, while people who are just making bad mistakes or may have gotten a drug charge or something minor are ended up staying in jail and leaving a record that's everlasting. Nonviolent offenders should be held responsible, but should be a lot lower sentence than those who commit violent crimes and have minor sentences. Now, this is not the change or the answer to make the change for the world, but this is the start. To address minor crimes with major sentences, you have to first find what you believe in. You have to you have to know your rights. You have to know what you're standing for. You have to be able to contact and make yourself heard. Then you have to stand up and speak up for what you believe in. And from there, you take action. And this is an ever-going process. So as you do this and you're making change, you start small, you end big. Small rewards will end up with the victory at the end. I hope that this gets you motivated to change and stand with me to make sure that nonviolent crimes are prosecuted and have consequences, but not in comparison to major crimes and violent offenders who walk free every day. I ask you to stand with me, or at least pay attention to what I've noticed or what I've presented to you today, and notice that there is an injustice being done, and without us doing these steps and making a change and taking action, the world is inevitable to stay like it is. And from where I stand, it's not a great one. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.